Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you're joining me from. Welcome back to Too Ambitious. I'm so happy that you all are here today. You took this time to join me because today we have an amazing, phenomenal woman who is joining the show today. And if you saw my post yesterday and a couple of days before, you know that we are going to be talking to the incomparable Ashlie Journet. So get comfortable because we're going to talk about all things business, being an entrepreneur, and also to your resume, how to get it together. She's going to share all her tips, but she's also going to share some business insights with us too, because she is that amazing. If you're not following Ashlie Journet right now, you need to follow her. Her posts are amazing and they're so inspiring. But let me tell you a quick little background about her before I bring her on. So Ashlie considers herself to be a CEO. That's what she calls herself, even though for some people they might say it's a CEO, but she is a CEO of Candidate Advocate Resume Writing Services. Now, what she does is she helps job seekers realize and articulate their achievements and skills through their resume. Now, believe it or not, she also works full-time, people, full-time as a successful talent acquisition and human resources professionals. She's truly amazing that she's able to juggle both, that including being a supportive mom, a wife, and just all around being great. So also too, she also is a content creator. She creates content on LinkedIn. She has over 38,000 followers and connections on LinkedIn. Yes, let that sink in. So without further ado, and without, really sort of kind of, fangirling about her, let me introduce you to the great Ashlie Journet.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, how are you?
I'm fine. So good to see you, Ashlie.
You as well. This is a long time coming, and I am excited to be
Yes.
on here finally.
Yes, 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 yes. Anytime we get to do a live and we get to have conversations with successful women like yourself, I am truly grateful. So,
Thank
thank you.
you.
So we know we've got the audience that's here joining us today. So we're going to be taking in comments and everything like that. So if you have any questions and comments about Ashlie, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll definitely refer to that. But let's kick it off. So Ashlie, you have this extraordinary resume writing business, and if you follow Ashlie on LinkedIn, you know that she's all about supporting the candidate journey. So Ashlie, why don't you tell me in your own words, like the business that you do and why you started it?
Whoa. So for me, I've been writing resumes for, I would say maybe 15 years. So my early 20s. I'll be 38 in December. So
Okay.
my early 20s, I started writing resumes for like friends, family, colleagues, and it was a hobby.
Right.
I didn't get paid for it. I did it for free. I
Yeah.
saw them getting results. But then over time, I started realizing, I had kids, I have my husband, taking time away from my family, that's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. So my husband and my friends, they kept telling me, you should monetize it. You should monetize it. So in 2023, I took about a 4.5 month break from corporate. I left and launched my business, the Candidate Advocate Resume Writing Services. And I did a little bit of marketing on LinkedIn, and people just started reaching out to me and asking if they could work with me. So that's how it was created, and we're here. Here we are now. It's grown to it's a really great business. I'm very successful at it, and I'm just grateful to God for giving me, giving me the gift to be able to write and connect with candidates and job seekers.
Yeah, and I love that you incorporate your faith in everything that you do. It's such an
Absolutely.
important part of who you are and the type of content that you put out. Was that like a personal choice for you, or was it a big decision, or you were like, no, this is what I'm doing, you know?
No, it wasn't a huge decision. I did have someone ask me, well, they told me, they said, hey, you may not want to mention God, because what if people come to work with you? They want to work with you, but then they see you're talking about God and then they don't want to work with you.
Right.
And I'm like, that's cool. Then they're not for me, right? I'm not going to leave God out of anything. So if he's not in it, I don't want it. my job, my family, my business, all of those things, they don't belong to me. They belong to him anyway, right? So I'm going to make sure that I showcase that on LinkedIn, on my website. When I'm talking to candidates, we talk about God. So I'm always going to keep God at the center of everything that I do. And I'm not ashamed of it. You can either follow me or unfollow me. I'm okay either way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, transparency is key,
Yeah.
and I think given where we are right now in our society and culture, I think faith is so important. Like whatever that means for you,
Yeah.
to hold on to, 'cause sometimes literally the world feels like it's spinning off the axis. So, so I think it's like super important. So tell me a little bit about, launching your business, the actual business itself.
Okay.
I know that the faith piece is part of who you are and part of your business, super important. But when we get down to the brass tacks, how did you get this business off the ground? Because everybody thinks entrepreneurs just like, automatically end
Yeah.
up earning $100,000 a month, you know?
Ooh, that was not it. That was not it at all. And I think society paints the picture that you need to have all your ducks in a row before you start a business.
Yeah.
And I did not. So I did not have my LLC. I do now, but I did not have it when I launched my business. I didn't have my website either. I think I had around maybe like 4 to 5,000 followers on
Okay.
LinkedIn
Okay.
at the time. So I just started talking about me writing resumes. And I had a PDF. It looked like an Applebee's menu, literally an Applebee's menu showing what my services were along with my pricing. And
Yeah.
then it had my Zelle and my Cash App at the
Okay.
bottom. So people would start reaching out to me saying, "Hey, Ashlie, I would, love to work with you. What's your pricing?" And I would just shoot them that PDF. And then if they wanted to work with me, we would go on from there. And I did start with Adobe Sign to start my contract. So that is one thing I had from the very beginning. I did invest in that just so we can have a contract in place.
Okay. Yeah.
And then about a year later, that is when I went in and paid somebody. I found someone on Fiverr to build my website, to start
Okay.
accepting payments through my website, but I did not have it all together. I didn't have a marketing plan. I didn't have a business plan. I just stepped out on faith and it has grown. So you don't have to have all your ducks in a row, despite what society,
Yeah.
made you think.
Yeah, I think that that's really real, and I think that's what a lot of people who might be starting like a side hustle or a full-on business on their own, you just kind of jump right in. I know, like when I first started my business, like everybody was like, "Oh, you got to get an LLC, you got to do all these things," and it was so overwhelming. you
Yeah,
know.
you'll talk yourself out of it. Like if you feel
Yeah.
like you have to do all those things, like I literally thought that I had to have everything, and I started getting overwhelmed and almost talked myself out of it. And
Yeah.
my husband was the person. He says you always think you need everything to start something, so he
Right.
would always say that to me. I'm like, you're right. I don't need it.
Right.
Let me just get started. So he had to have that come to Jesus moment with me, so I could get started.
I love that. Shout out to your husband.
Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So now the business takes off, right?
Mhm.
What
Yep.
what would you say was the reason that it took off and it continues to do so well? What do you attribute to that success?
Besides God, and I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that there. I'm gonna start with God.
As you should.
One,
Yeah.
two, the content that I post on LinkedIn, I post from my perspective of a candidate and a recruiter. I'm the recruiter, but I've been the candidate.
Right.
So I think that when people come to work with me, they see that, oh, she's a recruiter, so she knows what recruiters are looking for, right? And then majority of the people that come to me also bring up God, like, "Hey, Ashlie, I love following you. You're a woman of faith." And that brought me to you. So those two things combined, me talking about God and then me having the experience, about 8 years of experience within talent acquisition and human resources, along with that content, has allowed me to just take off. Because I don't really, if you look at my content, you don't see me advertising my services. I'm not a salesy person. In the beginning, maybe the first 6 months of me, maybe first 6 to 9 months of me launching my business, I did post a little bit and I would post about my clients'
Right.
success stories.
Yeah.
But now I don't do any of that. I think just my LinkedIn audience, they value the information that I put out. And if they want to work with me, they'll reach out to me.
Yeah. And, and I think that's a testament to, one, the work that you do, your faith, and also to how you show up on social media, which is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your only platform, right?
I'll post on TikTok every now and then, but it's
Okay.
strictly LinkedIn because that can get overwhelming. I kind of look at TikTok just for fun. I don't
Yeah.
feel pressure to do anything on there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like TikTok is a lot of fun, you can
Yeah.
spend so many hours on there. But when we talk about social media and using that as essentially a marketing tool,
Yeah.
um, was that a consideration for you at all in terms of how you leverage LinkedIn for your business? Because I would imagine that's how a lot of people find you, and it is a professional platform,
Hmm.
you know?
That's where majority of my clients come from. So yes, LinkedIn has played a huge part in my business growing. And you got to think I'm being a resume writer. Everyone is on there looking for a job.
Yeah,
So I feel like it's the best platform for me to market those, for me to market my services or for me to market myself or to post the content that
right.
I post to motivate and inspire, job seekers and candidates
Right.
out there.
Yeah, and I love your content as well because it's not just about resumes and that sort of thing. It's very inspiring and inspirational as well. Very
Thank you.
uplifting. Like you can go on Ashley's page and feel supported. You can feel the love. You can feel the heart. Was that something that you chose to do? Why do you do that?
Wow. For one, I know that my purpose is tied to people. I feel like all of our purposes are tied to people, serving other people.
Right.
And I've always enjoyed inspiring other people and
Mhm.
in motivating other people. So the things that I post, those are things that come to my mind.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I'm always typing things out in notes in my phone. Even when I'm taking breaks from LinkedIn, I'm still typing notes in my phone so that I can go back and put it out there.
Right.
And the things that I post, people don't realize it, but when I'll use the word preaching, but when I'm preaching to the crowd out there, I'm also preaching to myself and motivating and inspiring myself as well. So a lot of the things that I put out there for candidates and job seekers or just anyone that needs to feel motivated, I'm also speaking that to myself
Yeah.
or over myself as well.
Right. I think that's super smart. And, that's also how I post too. I kind of, say like, okay, I'm talking to myself, you know.
Yep.
Uh, that always works. Tell me a little bit about what it takes to have a great resume, Ashley.
Awesome. So, well, let me tell you the biggest mistake that I see on resumes.
Okay.
I feel that a lot of people have a difficult time selling themselves. And I'm speaking about my early career
Okay.
clients all the way to my executive level clients. A
Okay.
lot of their resumes, when they come to me, they are task driven, right?
Okay.
But they need to be achievement driven. Achievement driven. Companies want to know how you can make the money, save their time.
Right.
If not, what are they going to call you for? They want to see what you were able to do for another company because then that lets them know that you're going to be able to come and show up and show out, right? At
Exactly.
their organization as well. So oftentimes when I work with clients, they're like, well, I don't really have too many achievements, or I just did this, or I just did that. And I think a lot of us, myself included, we get caught up in what we do on a day-to-day basis, and we don't
Right.
realize that
Yeah.
it's a big deal,
Yeah.
right? So
True.
that is really the common mistake that I see on resumes, and it's the common theme with all of my clients, every single one of them. That is the hugest thing that I see on those resumes.
Ah, okay. Now we know that the job market is crazy town right now.
Mhm.
Layoffs. I feel like layoffs now are like daily, which is unfortunate.
It is.
If you're talking to someone who's recently laid off or someone who's been in the job market for a long time, what are some tips that you could give them, for their resume that you suggest? You know,
Well, let me say this. If I just go outside of the resume for a second and just give them
yeah,
advice, I would tell them to give themselves grace. This job market is insane,
yeah,
right? And oftentimes, a lot of these jobs, they may receive hundreds and hundreds of applicants, right?
yeah,
So if it just say a recruiter receives 300 resumes for one position, and they close that rec down. If they find a solid 7 candidates in the first 100 resumes, right? 9 times out of 10, those other 200 resumes, they're not getting reviewed.
No.
And that may not be for every recruiter, but
Oh,
for me, that is true. If I find those 7 candidates, solid candidates, I never want to put, 40 candidates in front of a hiring manager.
got it.
That's when they have, that's when indecisiveness comes in. Then they
Yep.
can't figure out who they
Yeah.
want. So I try to
Too many
put
choices, right?
yeah, too many choices. I mean, I get overwhelmed going to Target, seeing something, and I'm sitting there looking at everything. So I don't want to do that to a hiring leader.
Right.
So if your resume is not seen, it just wasn't seen. I don't want people to think that just because they got that redirection email, I don't like to say rejection, that redirection email, it doesn't mean that you weren't qualified.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you wouldn't have been able to do the job well. It just means that your resume may not have been seen, right?
Yeah.
Or if your resume was seen, there may have been someone else who aligned their resume closer to the job description. I think a lot of people also don't tailor their resume to the job description. And I know it can be a lot of work. It can be a lot of work at times, but it is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that with so many people who are looking for new opportunities, and when you see people who are saying like, "Oh, I've applied like to 100 jobs," I'm guessing that means that they've had to do their resumes tailor their resume 100 times. So it can.
Some people do, and some people use that same resume over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, and let's just use HR. If someone's an HR business partner, a good chunk of the HR business partner job descriptions may be very similar. It may be very small tweaks, some not at all. So you may have a resume that can be universal for those roles. Okay. But when I'm looking through resumes, Indeed is the thing that I use most. I don't use LinkedIn as much for the roles that I recruit for. But on Indeed, it is crazy. I have people applying for roles that have no experience whatsoever in the role that I'm applying, the role that I'm recruiting for. So it's kind of crazy. I may get like 80 resumes and maybe, a good 4 of them really have the experience or expertise that we're looking for. Other people have, their experience is not even related because they're using that same resume to mass apply.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. So tell me a little bit about, your role. So you work full time and you do this on the side.
I do.
How do you manage both?
It's tough. It's tough. I'll be honest, it's tough at times, but I will say that I am blessed to work a 4-day work week. So I am off on Thursdays. Okay. So that gives me time to work with clients. And then you have sometimes I work 7 to 5. Sometimes I'm working 5 to 9 for my business sitting on the computer. And sometimes my husband has to pull me away like, hey, you've been on that computer all day. You need to walk away and take a break. Yeah. So I pride myself on not taking too many clients at one time. Right. I have actually went on my website and put everything out of stock because I was having, potential clients go in and just purchase without talking to me. They'll just purchase. And that was good at one point. However, I don't want to have 5 or 6 clients a month while I'm also working my 9 to 5, which is demanding as well. So I'll be honest, I'm still trying to find that balance. I haven't totally figured it out, but I'm still trying to find that balance of being a wife, mom, and then being the workpreneur, having my 9 to 5 and my business.
Yeah. Definitely let me know how you figure that out. Because I bet that's like the secret sauce right there. Yeah, that's not easy at all.
It's not.
Tell me a little bit about some of the services that you offer through your company, Candidate Advocate.
For sure. So I do offer a resume renovation service. Okay. That is a full rewrite of your resume. Okay. So I have one for my early to mid-career job seekers, and then I have another resume renovation service, which is for any any clients that are in that senior manager role, wanting to
Right.
move into that director or executive level role.
Okay.
Then I also have my resume audit. That is where I provide feedback and recommendations for my clients to enhance their resume. So it's not me making any of the changes. I'm just giving the feedback for them to make the changes.
Okay.
And then with that, I also provide them with a resume template that I use for my clients as well. So they have a whole new template to plug all of their information into.
Right.
And then last but not least, I have the LinkedIn optimization service, but that is only for clients that purchase the resume renovation service. I don't
Okay.
offer it for the resume audit because I don't feel comfortable revamping someone's LinkedIn profile if I did not write that resume. So I choose to only do that for the resume renovation service clients only.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I love that your services are super easy to read and, decide like what it is that you need. Which one do you get the most clients from? Which service?
I would say resume renovation. However, the executive elite resume renovation has picked up a lot over the last few months because I have a lot of senior managers that are looking to move into those director level roles,
Right.
or those director level clients that are looking to move into, the C-suite space. So that's been a big hit for the last, I would say, 3 months or so.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love it. Okay. I love this. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing because I just want to get all into it. Like want to be like, okay, and then what? So all the work that you're doing with everyone's resume. So I'm gonna just ask this because
Okay.
everybody talks about the dreaded ATS.
Yep.
Right? From your perspective, as you're renovating resumes and everything like that, do you keep the ATS in mind? How much of a big role does the ATS play into it? Because
I will say I will talk about success factors. So that's the ATS system that I currently use for for my employer. So ATS systems, the ATS system that we use, it just houses the resumes.
Okay.
It's not knocking anyone out. I'm the person reviewing the resumes. I'm the person sending that redirection email. Again, I don't like rejection, but I'm the person sending those emails out. But I do want people to keep in mind that there are knockout questions.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the questions that I always ask is if you're 18 years or older.
Okay.
Believe it or not, people will rush through and hit no. It auto rejects them.
No.
And I know that because I had a manager reach out to me and say, hey, so-and-so had a referral apply and they said they got a rejection email. And I'm like, well, let me go look. They were in the auto rejection pile. And I'm like, yeah, because they put that they were not 18 years of age.
Yeah.
So I think people have to be careful to not make simple mistakes like that. But also, if you are applying for a project management role that requires 5 years of experience, and there is a question that asks, do you have at least 5 years of experience in project management?
Right.
And you only have 3 and you say no, that can also cause an auto rejection. So I do go in and put those knockout questions because it helps me as a recruiter. It's eliminating the people that don't fully qualify for the role so that I'm not wasting my time and I'm not wasting their time in the interview process. So there's no ATS, monster back there. It's just me. I like to say applicant tracking sister. It's me.
Okay.
There's no monster back there. It's just me with the resumes.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I will say that you're super nice though. You're like one of the best like recruiters that I've come across. I know you can't speak for everybody, but you're a really nice person,
Thank you. I hear that a lot and it's disheartening. When you hear candidates say, wow, this is the best experience, like I'm glad that I can create that exceptional candidate experience for them.
Yeah.
But it's disheartening to know that they have had some terrible experiences with some recruiters. And I will say this, it doesn't excuse the behavior that some of these recruiters are putting out there or giving, but a lot of these recruiters are overworked. With rec loads of 50, 60, some 70 recs, right? So it is difficult for them to get back to every single person. They're not going to be able to give every single person detailed feedback on why they didn't get the job. So I'm not making excuses, but I have been in the role where I have had, those 50 to 60 recs. I don't have that right now, but I have been in a role where I have, and I know the overwhelming feeling of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy, and I think also too, a lot of corporate restructure, right?
Yeah.
So you've got people who are taking on way more than they ordinarily would,
Yeah.
so it sounds like we need to give grace on both parts.
Absolutely. I think for the recruiters and the candidates, listen, I get ghosted often. I literally
What?
just reached out to a candidate last week about an offer. They were like super excited, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to schedule a time to talk with you, and ghosted me. Like ghosted me. I reached out like 3 or 4 times. I mean, totally
In
ghosted
this
me
job
off.
market?
In this job market, I have candidates not show up for interviews with the hiring managers. Like hiring managers will reach out to me like, hey, such and such didn't show for the interview, or they'll ghost me on the screenings. So the phone screen. So it definitely goes both ways. I feel like it has to stop both ways, but I don't ghost candidates for sure. Even if I don't have an update, I will send you an email and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for an update from the hiring team. As soon as I get feedback, you'll get feedback. So I try to give them an update even if I don't have one.
Which I think is very, very gracious, and I'm sure it's appreciated as well.
For sure.
So thank you. We do have a question here,
Okay.
Deneen. When doing resume renovation, do you have the client provide job descriptions for a couple of jobs that are interested in applying for, and do you tweak the blueprint resume to align with each description if there are multiple positions?
So whenever I do work with a client, I do have them provide me with one job description.
Okay.
So I tailor that resume to that one job. And oftentimes my clients are applying to similar jobs with similar titles. So it's easy for them to tweak it, right?
Okay.
For different positions. Also, when I wrap up my time with my client, I also have a resume tailoring video. It's on TikTok. I probably did about a year and a half ago.
Nice.
But I add that in my closeout email because it lets them know how, they can tailor their resume.
Right.
So I do tailor it just to that one job only.
Okay. All right. Super great. Thank you so much for that question, Deneen. I'm sure other people can use it as well. So thank you. And so, Ashlie, what are some of your other tips that you can share for people who are out there who have their resume and they're like, what should I be thinking of? What are some things they should be thinking of to make sure that their resume is optimized and most likely will get them that interview, hopefully the job as well?
So I like to say this, just being transparent, right? This job market is unlike any job market I've ever seen, right, in my career.
Yeah.
And it's tough. When people come to work with me, they'll say, hey, Ashlie, I need you to write me a resume that's going to help me get an interview. And I'm like, I can't promise you that. Right. I can't guarantee you that. Yeah. I can't guarantee you a job offer. I can't guarantee you an interview. And any career coach or resume writer that's promising you that, I need you to run, like put your track shoes on and run fast, because we can't promise you that.
Right.
But I know a lot of people are using AI to write their resumes. And I want to give everyone one tip out there.
Okay.
To see how well your resume really aligns with the job description. You can go into ChatGPT and make sure that you have your resume readily available. Of course, don't include your contact information when you're copying and pasting. Then you want to copy and paste that job description as well. And you want to ask Chat to review your resume against the job description and give you an overall percentage of the match, right? Okay. So if it's giving you, maybe an 85 to 100% match, you should be good to go ahead and apply. If it's giving you like 60, 70, I wouldn't apply. Or you can go back and ask, Chat, hey, though it's only giving me a 70% match, what are some things that can be tweaked in my resume, right? And it should give you feedback on that. Now, I don't want you to just go copy and paste. And when I say you, I'm talking to everybody on
Right,
LinkedIn
right.
who's watching this. So I don't want you to just go in and copy and paste whatever Chat GPT is saying you. It's still AI. Everything is not accurate. You have to make sure that things are still in your writing. You got to make sure you can speak to the metrics, because sometimes it'll just spit out things that aren't true.
Oh,
But that is it's crazy. I see a lot of resumes that have like metrics there, but it has like an X, like they didn't put the metrics in. I'm like, okay, they used AI and they just copy and pasted it and they forgot to put the metrics in. So make sure you go back and edit it. Don't just
double check your work.
Triple check when it's AI for sure. But
Yeah.
that's a good way to tell you how close of a match you are to the job description, and it can lead you in the right direction. But again, in this job market, there's no guarantee. I think the best thing to do is just network
Wow.
on LinkedIn and offline from LinkedIn as well, with colleagues that you've shared your phone number with and stuff like that, online and offline.
Yeah. Now that's a really great tip. Networking, it works.
It does.
So
That's how I met you, right? We met on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I've met some great people
Exactly.
on LinkedIn, like Amelia Badua. Like she and I, we
She's great.
talk on the phone multiple times per week. You would have thought that we've known each other since like high school, right? So I've met some really dope people here on LinkedIn and gotten some really great opportunities from networking on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, shout out to Amelia. She is lovely and just such a wonderful person. And yeah, met her on LinkedIn as well. So, now we know. Now, before I let you go, I want to know how you are taking care of yourself, because you were a recruiter and you were doing all the things. You are happily married with 2 kids, 2 jobs, and doing all the things and looking fabulous at the same time.
Thank
So,
you.
how are you taking care of yourself? That's important.
So I'm actually on a self-care journey right now.
Good.
My husband will always say that I don't sit down. He's like, girl, you don't never sit down. Like, what do you have planned today? It's hard for me to just sit down. I'm always fidgeting or trying to do stuff or trying to help someone.
Yeah.
So I have a therapist that I love. It's another Black woman, and she just sees me and understands me. And she gave me a checklist of self-care items that I can partake in solo by myself. So I have started, I'll do some walking around the neighborhood. I recently started reading. So I've read 2 books. I just finished my 2nd book yesterday. And the 3rd one should be here today. I ordered it this morning, so Amazon should be delivering it. So for me, just taking time out to do the things that I enjoy. So reading has begun to be one of the things that I love. And it's not a self-help book. I am reading fiction right now. I put down the self-help books and I just want something that allows me to escape and sit alone by myself in the living room on the recliner and just read.
I love that. I love that because I am the same way. I can't sit still for nothing. So, I have to practice walking and doing nothing. So there's that.
And saying no. I think saying no to people. I'm getting comfortable with saying no and not apologizing for it. I used to apologize, say, well, sorry, or it's unfortunate. But I had a therapist tell me there's nothing unfortunate about your no. There's nothing unfortunate about it. So I'm getting comfortable with saying no to people.
Exactly. It's a full sentence.
Period.
Yep. Period. and that's that. So we've got one last question here.
Okay.
And hello, Ashlie. How do we go by seeking your expertise?
So you can visit my website, candidateadvocate.com. Okay. And I'm actually, it's the end of the year, so I'm only taking 2 more clients for the rest of the year, because I do work my 9 to 5, and then I want to make sure that I'm spending time with my kids and my husband during the holiday season. So I'll just be taking 2 more clients on for the rest of the year.
I love it. Well, thank you for that question, Devi. If you want to work with Ashlie, you probably need to run right now because she's only taken 2. And so people can reach you through your website or message you on LinkedIn too, or
I would say, you could do both. I will be honest, my LinkedIn DMs are crazy. So I am not able to respond to every single person, but if you send me a message through my website, I will respond. I do have people respond asking me about recruitment, but I do have an away message. If somebody sends me something about recruitment, there is an away message. They'll say like, I don't respond to those messages because my business and me doing recruiting, they're two separate things. What I do for my employer and what I do for my personal business. So I do have to create those boundaries.
Yeah, as you should, as you should. Well, Ashlie, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to share the gems about your business, resumes, and a little bit about how you make it all look so effortless. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you for having me. I love what you're doing, highlighting all these amazing women, Black women out here on your podcast. I enjoy tuning in. So I really appreciate you and appreciate all that you do and just the light that you continue to spread across, LinkedIn. So I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Ashlie. I appreciate that. I think it's our responsibility to do our little part to keep the lights on, especially in the world we're in right now. So, I just try to do my part, and as are you. So I appreciate you as well. So,
thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to let her go. If you have any questions for Ashlie, you can definitely, respond. There's a couple of questions, Ashlie, just so you know, that are in on this live that some people might have asked. When Ashlie has some time, because today's her day off, she will get back to you guys as well. But remember, she's only taking 2 more clients, 2 more. So if you are watching this, you need to run fast right now. So anyway, well, thank you everyone for watching Too Ambitious, and I will see you next week with another phenomenal woman. So bye, everyone.